enshrines the right to a free press in the United States. Help NPR and this station keep exercising this critical right by making your gift today. And thank you.
Give now by visiting kawc.org/donate. And thanks.
What's up, Yuma? I'm Johnny Porter.
And I'm Victor Calderon.
On today's program, we are going to be joined first by David Sanchez, representing Friends of the Lower Colorado River. They're going to be sharing how volunteers, local volunteers, can make a real impact on our local river. We got to take care of it. And also John Edward Peel, who's a veteran U.S. Marine, and he's going to be talking about his new business, Busy Drones Cleaning. Yes, he has those drones cleaning. It's better that they do it instead of him getting on that roof, I guess. We're going to talk to him about that as well. So stay with us for What's Up Yuma Radio, beginning right now on KOFA 94.7 FM.
And streaming online at borderradioaz.org and on the KOFA app. You can also view our show on the Border Radio Facebook page and the KAWC YouTube page. And don't forget, you can reach out to us by email at whatsupyumaradio@gmail.com.
What's Up Yuma is sponsored by High Tanks Brewing Company, serving up scratch-made food, craft beers, and experiences at 2 desert locations in Welton. More at hightanks.com.
Chili from Philly. Nick Papa Giorgio from Yuma.
Johnny Show! What's up, Yuma? What's up, Yuma? Welcome back to another episode of What's Up Yuma Radio. I'm Johnny Porter.
And I'm Victor Calderon. And Johnny, I have an update.
Yeah, okay, so give some context for the update.
Yeah.
We were just, you were getting texts from Travis from over.
So Arizona Western College women's basketball, we had them on the show last week. We had the coach on.
Yes,
Chelsea
and
Dooley.
they were heading to Louisiana, I believe.
Right.
That's where they were going.
For their national tournament, their version of March Madness.
Uh-huh.
And they had just played, and the game just went final. So Arizona Western College came up short 88-81 against New Mexico.
88.
Shout out to Travis for sending me that update.
That's a close one. It hurts to lose. It's do or die at this tournament, right? So,
yeah, single elimination, just like the Division I tournament. But yeah.
Yeah. So, but that's cool. They got a trip to Louisiana, right?
Yeah, and good season for them. They won their conference, so
they beat the number one team, right?
They beat the number one team, so they made them sweat. Hopefully, we'll see how they do.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that was cool. You were kind of keeping us up to date with those. Thanks to Travis, who was watching. It was on ESPN Plus or
ESPN Plus. Yeah. So not everyone has that, but yeah, I was out there. So
do you have it? Is that how you're watching it?
Yeah, I started to watch it at home, but then I had to leave and come here. So.
Oh yeah, but
I don't think we have it out here, but maybe we do. But
thank you for the update. I appreciate that. And with that, we'll get to our guest here. I'm talking about David Sanchez, and he's part of the Friends of the Lower Colorado. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Johnny.
All right, let's get you real close to that mic and scoot up to it, and give it a big kiss on there. Hey, you've been on the show before. I think we were mentioning the end of the season, kind of wrapping things up, but now we're going to get a jump on the season, and the season being when it gets hot. When it gets hot, that's when people. I just went there. I think. The past 2 weekends, there's already a lot of people out at the river because it's that temperature already, and we're in March.
Yeah, we got the triple digits.
And that's the time that you want to be in water, trying to cool off here in Yuma. And what does your organization do specifically? And then we'll backtrack and get into some stuff. But what is the mission for the Friends of the Lower Colorado?
So we work with BLM and Bureau of Reclamation to be able to maintain these areas that are closer to not maintained by the city or the county, just because of their low resources. But a lot of the Yuma residents, they use the area called Shish Creek.
Yeah.
Because of the Gila, it comes with warmer water and it's lower level in height, so it's a little bit safer for kids. So you could, park right next to the water.
At the creek.
Yeah. Yeah, and then it it tees off with the Colorado River, so you got access to both rivers from there. And it does get a lot of people, so there's naturally a lot of trash. Sometimes just the wind picks it up, and it could be wrappers, but sometimes it's somewhat intentional, leaving your beer cans or any wrappers that definitely.
Yeah, food wrappers are out there fooding. They're out there eating food. The food comes in a wrapper. You got a container or some sort. Beer comes in a can, and people just go out there and maybe they're having a little bit too much of a good time and kind of leave some stuff there. It happens over the season, and so your mission is to help prevent that, help clean that, or help get awareness.
Yeah, it's definitely awareness, to maintain it so we don't lose it as an asset for the city. The last year we were able to get a dumpster set up over there, so now it doesn't give people the excuse that there isn't somewhere to throw away the trash.
So how'd you get the dumpster there? Can you give us a little bit? Did somebody sponsor a dumpster out there? Or
last year we had the Caballeros of Yuma sponsor the last couple months for it. So at first we didn't know, because we got Republic Services that does do the dumpster service for us. And, first the logistics of being able to access it, because some of it's a little bit loose terrain. Yeah. But they do have a specific truck that can.
They got like a 4x4, yeah, off-road type.
It's pretty nimble.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, I've seen it. It's nothing too crazy. You expected something,
but they have like nicer tires on there or something.
Yeah, it's a little bit more compact, so it could do the tight turns compared to the weight of a regular garbage truck. So it's not on those gravel roads. It's not also deteriorating, making those trips. And it's nimble enough. It gets it right at the entrance, and so when you come in, you could see it. It's not hidden, and it's the city's, or at least the residents have been around there. It hasn't been vandalized or anything there, so they see the purpose of it. Yeah, and we have noticed once it's been there that there's been less to clean up. So sometimes we have to find other places to do our cleanups, because we try to do them monthly. That. All right, that's, the confluence is pretty well kept, that we need to.
It solved a problem, right? You said that you would normally go out there and have to clean it up, but having this partnership, and can you tell me, do you know like how this partnership started? Did somebody reach out to the Caballeros? Shout out to the Caballeros. I was talking to one this morning. So was it like somebody, Wendy probably, she does everything. Was it her? Did she ask somebody or something?
Yeah. Wendy does a network a lot. Yeah. She's with the Rotary. Yeah. So she, we did ask, sponsors, and they could see the benefit of it being locally, that money is, helping something here in the community, and definitely a need. So our efforts in the last months and the amount of trash we've done, they were able to help us with that.
Yeah, so they sponsor it. Did they get like a logo on the trash can or anything?
They did have that Caballero logo on it. So
gotcha.
It was nice vinyl on it. Also, kind of, it stated, what would be common sense. You don't want any glass out there, any riverfront, because that's hard to pick up. Don't leave your trash. You don't want to have any fire pits or anything. Yeah. Burning pallets that leave nails. All these. For some people it's common sense, but you see it done and it's kind of harder to maintain.
It should be common sense, but it isn't always. And it's kind of ugly to see like when people leave behind their trash and it's not.
When you mentioned the nails get there a lot of times when people burn a pallet. That's what happens. They go and they throw it and they do a fire and they burn the pallets, and then left behind are all the nails that put the pallets together, and they're out there, and obviously that's a hazard, correct?
Correct. And that's where, with our friends group, we're collecting the proper tools. So we have these magnet pickups. So if we do see a fire pit, we could go over it and have the right equipment to be efficient out there. And trash bags, safety equipment with gloves, and for the events, having water and cooling stations, just so all the volunteers are being protected while they're out there.
So tell me a little. Do you know how this organization got started and who started it?
Wendy and my buddy Joey, they were both on an online forum, complaining about the trash that was left at the confluence. Yeah. So somebody made a post about how messy it got, how it's been, and because it's trashy, people keep it trashy. So with the they both comment on it, and then they private message that what could we do in regards to that? We have the manpower in our youth, and Wendy seemed to have the knowledge of how to set up a group and get funding or ask for funding for a nonprofit to be able to invest in the equipment. And then from there it's the organization of planning and getting everything set up.
And when was
properly.
this?
This was last year. I'd say in March was probably the first time they actually met and actually got a game plan together.
Yeah.
And they got the nonprofit going pretty quickly.
Which is a beautiful thing because, anybody can complain. I don't know if you know that, David, but anybody can complain and say, oh, look at that. There's trash over here. Like, people need to be better human beings and stuff, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you could do that all day long. But I try to be somebody with solutions, and I think that's the best type of person to be. Now, not everybody is Wendy, right, and have answers to all these things and be able to have, her hands in so many things and so many connections. But to take that step forward and say, like, we don't want to just complain. We want to do something about it.
Yeah, correct. And, from the board members that we have to start the group, everybody had some connections. Me and Joe, we had fishing connections or people similar to those that areas. We have experience off-roading, so going in those back trails. We have our personal vehicles that are capable of it. So it just let us bring our knowledge base to be able to access that and, organize better.
Yeah, so let's go way back. So are you from Yuma?
Correct. Yeah, born and raised in Yuma.
Born and raised in Yuma. And you said off-road experience. Is that part of your childhood? Is that something you did when you were in high school and stuff too? Or is this all pretty recent?
Yeah. We did in high school. So when I was young age, and I remember we used to go to, for spring break, we'll go to El Golfo. So there you had quads, there'd always be some off-roading, definitely camping out on the beach. So back then, those are fond memories. So that, you do get to learn how to get unstuck in mud and dirt.
See, Wendy, I always thought that it was cool, right? I'm like, and people are like, we're going to El Golfo this weekend, and it looks cool. But me, I was like, always, man, I don't know what to do in that sand. I wouldn't know what to do in a vehicle. And so it was scary to me. But you said you went over there, you experienced it, and it gave you the knowledge now for what you're doing. But back then, you're experiencing it. What was that like?
Yeah. So in El Golfo, you get these huge high and low tides. So every 6 hours it goes up and down, and it creates this horrible mud. So you see these cars just get up to their wheel wells in mud, and they're stuck there. And then you could see the water just coming up, creeping up on it. So you kind of try to learn from other people's experience.
That's the best way to learn is from other people's experience. It's like, oh yeah, that one's Vaya con Dios or whatever. It's like, that one's gone. But you're seeing it out there. But you're learning how to navigate the terrain.
Correct. Yeah, and try to as soon as you're getting into tough stuff, kind of all right, back out here before just flooring it and kind of getting yourself worse in situations.
So did you have a vehicle, an off-road vehicle, or are you just going out with buddies?
Yeah, when I was 16, my first vehicle was a Toyota Tacoma. So that was 4x4. So yeah, that got me anywhere here in Yuma that had really should or shouldn't have been going into.
Should or shouldn't have been.
Yeah, so we got practice there, and then for me, it wasn't too much, but the same thing, I'd invite my buddies, and they're two-wheel drive, thinking that they could keep up. And so I learned a lot of my recovery in those terrains, taking my buddies out. So not so much myself getting stuck.
So growing up here, like that's obviously a part of it, because we and again, I wish I would have taken advantage of it, because that's where we're around. We're on desert, and we're around a place where you need a four-wheel drive truck to be able to go out where you maybe shouldn't be, but still get to go out and explore, right? So you're doing that. But I remember last time we talked, the river wasn't a big deal, or at least fishing wasn't a big part of that. That came later.
Yeah, so moved to Phoenix, then moved to San Diego, and then once we came back in 2020, just seeing what activities. Off-roading changed, where now there's a lot more razors out there. So before you wanted to go out to the desert to get, away from stuff, and now there's all this traffic, you have to keep your head on the swivel.
That did change it a little bit, right? Because, I remember it was all about what you could do to your truck, right? You get it lifted, you do certain suspension on it, you're doing these things in your truck. But then now, like you see the razors or
the UTVs, they're taking over.
They've kind of really, taken over the whole scene, right? I guess, if you have the technology and the stuff's better, why not? But so the landscape started to change, huh?
Correct. And that's where that going on boats on the river and fishing kind of got you more into that, isolation and kind of, being on your own, kind of feeling more, outdoorsy.
So, okay. So, yeah, it's kind of getting crowded over here. And then you found a different escape. And if I'm correct, first came the boats for you, right?
Correct. So from the Laguna Dam down to Morelos Dam, that's the river that most people would access from Yuma, from city of Yuma, and then Yuma County falls that way, and then on the other side it's Winter Haven. So between those two dams, that's where you get the lower water levels. So compared to the main river, which would be closer to Martinez Lake, that's really heavy current, and you definitely don't go swimming there. You find sandbars and relax, but you're not going to swim across it because of the current and the size of it. So because of those dams, we do get this lower area, but because of that, you also get shallower waters. So most boats, they need at least 2 feet of water to traverse safely, because you got an outboard that's 6 underneath your hull. So if you do hit sand or rocks, that could damage it, especially sand, because they're water cooled. They suck up water. If they get clogged up, they wouldn't work.
Yeah.
So with me and Joe, we started working with these longtails, which work great for shallow water on a John boat. So you got a light boat, could go through 6 inches of water and just keep cruising. So you're not too worrisome. So the whole lower river, nobody really had that.
It becomes like accessible, like it kind of opens you up to more, right?
Correct. Yeah. The only thing probably comparable would be like a jet ski, but that still has a jet that if you get it in sand, you could, cause expensive damage to your jet ski. So you still don't push it through there if you don't have to. But with these, you're free to explore, and they're easy to troubleshoot, inexpensive to get into, because a lot of people could have a John boat that their grandpa had, laying around in their yard. You always see them when you drive around Yuma.
You said they're the aluminum boats, right?
Yeah, those
boats,
aluminum boats.
Lightweight, yeah.
Real simple, real basic. You could even just do an electric trolling motor on it, but with the current, doesn't really get you upriver as you would like. So with these setups, we started with $500 kits, all brand new, assembled them and started exploring, then kind of went bigger boats, bigger motors, and now we could go up and down the river pretty easily.
And then this is where you found your escape once again. Like you started to have an appreciation for the river, for these resources. Went from one place, the desert, to where the water's at, and then you're finding your escape. And it sounds pretty cool that you're kind of building these kits. Like you said, you have a kit, you're doing this. It's like, okay, there's an issue. If we do this, it's going to ruin our motor or this or that. But you found it, and you started to appreciate the resource that we have here as a community.
Yeah, and making it more accessible. And, as basic as it is, we do get friends into it as well. It's worked out great for them. You just have that freedom back to get on the water.
Absolutely. So I'm going to take a quick break. We're going to come back on the other side to talk about how you got into fishing, and then we'll talk about maybe some stuff and resources and some of the cleanups that you guys are going to be doing and how people can find out more information about that. All right? We're going to do that after a quick break. You're listening to What's Up Yuma Radio right here on 94.7 KOFA Border Radio.
Welcome to KAWC's The Hotspot.
I'm Chloe Michael.
And I'm Maya Manry. This week, we hear from artists and promoters alike who share the impact music has on Yuma.
That's what I really like. I like people having a good time, bringing joy. Music is such a powerful instrument to transmit joy.
This show is available as a podcast or online at kawc.org under the Shows tab.
Bringing the heat to Yuma and La Paz, it's The Hotspot.
You are tuned to 94.7 FM KOFA Border Radio. I'm Cecilia Holland-Braithwaite from the KAWC Newsroom. We expect a sunny day in Yuma with an afternoon high of 98 degrees. Winds are southerly at 5 miles per hour. Mostly clear skies tonight with a low around 62 degrees. In Yuma, school choice is helping some students find the right fit. Students, alumni, and educators from Desert View Academy, Southwestern Christian School, and EOC Charter High School share what school choice means to them. You can hear them online at KAWC.org.
Thank you to the many local businesses that support Border Radio and help make the music possible. If you have a business that would like to include Border Radio in your marketing mix, we're here to provide a customized program for you. Call us at 877-838-5292 or visit borderradioaz.org for more information.
Turn on Border Radio KOFA 94.7 FM and cross musical borders every day. From new indie discoveries to timeless classics, listener-supported Border Radio brings you music you won't hear anywhere else. Live, local, and online at borderradioaz.org and on the KOFA app.
What's up, Yuma? Welcome back to What's Up, Yuma Radio. We are here with David Sanchez, one of the friends of the Lower Colorado. And we kind of left off. So you're out there, you're doing the boat thing, and then fishing seems like a natural progression in my mind. And especially like people, like you're talking about, going out, escaping, finding some peace, getting some solace. Fishing is a great way to do it because you need to have like patience and like weight and stuff. So how'd you get into the fishing aspect of it?
Yeah, since we're out there, you start seeing fish, actually.
Oh, you start to see them?
Yeah,
like the ones that jump, or like you see them in the water? Or?
Yeah, shad seem to jump a lot. Those are harder to catch. They don't seem to, bite a hook so much. But just cruising and you're going and then you're kind of spooking them, you could see them like scatter as you go. So like, you start figuring out where you see the fish more often, if they're in pockets or the terrain that they're in. So you kind of start using, all right, let's, I think I could catch that. And you start learning, going for bass, that's definitely a big sports fish out here in Yuma, and wasn't too effective with that.
No, what's the difference between bass fishing and catfishing? Is it like what you use? Is it the technique or?
Yeah. There's a ton of lures. There's a whole Bass Pro Shop built around.
I guess that makes sense. Yeah, there's a whole thing
based on bass fishing. So they could hit plastic lures, rubber lures, frog type of lures, some look like snakes, spiders, rats,
they'll go after anything, huh?
Yeah, you could definitely try to convince them pretty well. So they bite. And topwater type of fishing is the ones where they actually jump, hit the water for something that's floating, and they make a big splash. That was pretty fun. So that was kind of like my favorite, but that's only seasonal, like beginning season or end of the season. Once it gets warmer, they start going deeper in the water, so they don't attack the surface as much.
Oh, okay. But then catfishing, that's a little bit different. So explain that and how you got into that.
Yeah. So bass fishing, you could throw like 100 casts hitting different pockets throughout the day. So it's a little bit more labor intensive in a way. Catfishing, you kind of find a spot. You could just hunker down, throw your rods, and just sit back and relax, which the payout would be at times the catfish could be from 10 to 50 pound range. And so you go in something a little bit more trophy, where a trophy bass would be 9 pounds and bigger, something really rare to catch and, to be proud of.
Yeah. So you're out there catfishing. You said you took to a little bit more, right? The bass fishing. What's the biggest catfish you've caught? Have you done any like ones that are like, wow, this could win me something, or this is big?
Yeah. So it's, the biggest I've caught was 44 pounds, and that was barely like in my second, third year of fishing.
Can you with your hands, for people watching on Instagram and Facebook and all that good stuff, to show me how big of that is?
So it'd be about this length in fish, but they're girthy. They're going to be around this.
So they're pretty
wide.
Round and like they're okay.
Yeah. They're
they got a lot of body to them.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of muscle.
They're big boned.
Big boned. Yeah.
They're thick, as the kids say.
Yeah, they're thick.
Oh yeah. And some of them you could tell. They look. They have some big straps in the back, like if they're bodybuilders. Yeah, they're very muscular fish. A lot of meat on them.
So you're saying they're muscular? So is that a tough one? Like pulling them in and they put up a good fight?
Yeah, they're definitely a great fight. Even the smaller ones, they tend to fight more. The bigger ones, they just kind of, they look around. Yeah, they use their weight as the resistance, but sometimes you get more fight out of the 20-pound range rather than the bigger ones. It's you definitely need the right gear. So that's all comes with trial and error with the line thickness you have.
Because some line is dependent on like the pounds, right? Like it'll snap at a certain amount of pounds of pressure.
Correct. So when you're bass fishing, that comes with a lot of technique too, because you want to get something real thin so they don't see it, they don't notice it. Catfish, you could just try to go bigger, go thick, because they don't really notice. Well, at least for me, I go catfishing at night, so it's not a big of a variable. You just want to have something that's rated for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and what kind of bait do you use for catfish? What's like a typical? What do they like? Or am I going to give out too many secrets? Or?
No. If you're going for channel, you could go for something bloodier like chicken liver. So if you're going to the ponds that they stock channel cats, that's probably what I would go with if it were me. Some people could use hot dogs, stuff like that. When you go for flathead catfish, they like a little bit more live bait. So I do like to use bluegill. So you almost have to be a professional bluegill fisherman to be a decent cat fisherman, because you have to catch your bait.
You got to catch your bait. Yeah.
So bluegill are readily available, found all up and down the river. So I've caught them right at West Wetlands on the riverside, just under the Tules. From there, there's other fish you could catch, tilapia, shad. Those are a little bit harder to catch. Almost you need a cast net. But yeah, those live bait would be what I would use for flathead. And then just finding a honey hole that you could feel lucky with, go with your gut, and try it out. And sometimes you do land one.
Yeah, so you're out there, you're appreciating, obviously. You want to keep this as a good resource. There's different, I don't know if they call it districts, or there's different places that maintain. I know there's the city of Yuma, that's one of them, and then it's also, I'm drawing a blank right now on I could have their logo on my head.
Yeah, you got the Heritage.
The Heritage, there you go.
They do from the Court Masters Depot. They maintain that. They maintain the prison, and they maintain the East Wetlands. So that's their area. We work with them too.
So what does that mean? You work with, you kind of partner with them because it, like, some of your intersects, or?
Correct. Sometimes we've had cleanups and they're there. They give us supplies, or they have their carts to help load up trash. So they also, when we were beginning, they were guiding us on what they recommended on equipment and, perhaps future setups, because they have their cleaning department too. So it works out well, and we're still working well with them on projects. Once we're, if the confluence perhaps after hopefully this week is pretty well maintained, and then they're in need, we could team up with them to do an area at the Ocean Bridge or
so then you would go and help them. Is that what you're saying? Like in their area?
Yeah, correct. Just the manpower, because I believe their cleanup or maintenance department's only less than 10 guys. So it's hard to do all that area, especially if it's that heavily trashed, if it is after some kind of event, a holiday weekend or something.
Yeah. So how many are, I guess, a part of your group? Because I know there's probably like a core team, but anybody can go out and volunteer to clean. But so go ahead and go with, like, how many is in your kind of core group, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, it's 5 of us that pretty much organize and set the game plan. Me, Wendy, Joey, Michelle, and then Wendy's husband gets voluntold. So
she gets voluntold to do it. Yeah, okay.
So he's a big help there. Daniel would be the one. So between us, we try to set everything organized and kind of each do assemblies. Like Michelle, Dunkin' Donuts giving us donuts, so she's going to pick them up for the day of. Walmart got us water, so they'll do pickups for that. That was Wendy. Yeah. So everybody tries to pitch in a little time-wise, because for one person, or it's hard to get everything.
So Wendy Stewart is watching or listening, and she has a correction. So the dumpster, she says, is sponsored by the Fort Yuma Rotary for the entire 2026 season.
Correct. Yeah. This year is Fort Rotary, but last year
it was the Republic. Okay. I mean Caballeros.
Caballeros did it last year.
Yeah.
Thank you for our fact checker, Wendy, out there watching, keeping us correct. But no, okay, cool. So then, on these cleanups that you do, you mentioned there's donuts. Is there, like, you make sure people are taken care of? It's not just they're just out there like, okay, go clean it up. Tell us a little bit about how the cleanups go.
So this Saturday we'll be getting together at the PAC Center to do a sign up. If you ideally have to be 14 years and older. Or sign a waiver with the guardian if you're younger than that. We have BLM that's going to run through safety procedures on what to expect, what to be cautious of. It could be rattlesnakes.
That's what came to my mind right away. I seen it that they're out now. I have a lot of friends that go out down there and take pictures and stuff, and it's like, yeah, they're out. So some training on that, what to do a little bit of suggestions, like, hey, leave them alone.
Yeah, it's just stuff to be aware of. It's same thing with trash. If it's something that looks that sharp tarp or anything, not to leave it alone, but at least inform us to have somebody else to do it. And then we got gloves, we got trash pickers, so you won't have to grab stuff by hand. Buckets, we supply the trash bags as well. And then snacks, hydration at the event, once we get to the event, that's available for people to utilize.
So Pacific Avenue Athletic Complex, what time?
At 7:00, preferably meet up by 7:30. We're doing the safety briefing, and then from there we'll split up. We're going to split up into 2 groups. So we will have a group going to the confluence, which would be a little bit more basic trash that's blown into bushes, kind of cleanup. And then we'll need a second group that's going to be more of the muscle and kind of 4x4 trucks going out that route. We have this is alongside the Gila River, so now we're expanding a little bit more east.
Okay.
And they use it as a dump ground. So it was similar to the first event we did last year, that it was just trash kind of getting, you start digging, you start finding more. So we do have, there's a jacuzzi out there that's trashed. Just somebody dumped it out there.
Somebody just dumped it out there. Oh,
yeah,
wow.
So we got that. Republic's going to have a roll-off dumpster, so it's a pretty large dumpster, about 20 feet long by 8 feet wide. So we're going to try to fill that up. So we're going to have that. There's, people that are refrigerators. So it's a lot larger trash in an area that we didn't really noticed before, but now that we've kind of explored,
you've explored it, and you see people just go out there and leave their big trash, right? People just, like you said, like a dump site.
Correct, which the county offers the Gila transfer site that's free of charge, which ain't that much farther from there, but they decided.
I've been seeing that a lot lately. Like I don't know if it's a city or county or something, but hey guys, we offer this. This is offered. You don't need to dump it. And there's a few places just not just around the river. People just dump stuff. They just. It's oh, I need to get rid of this, and they'll just dump it on the side of the road. I've seen stuff on the way to Somerton, and people just do that. But you found this location. You guys are going to tackle it, huh?
Yeah, and because of we feel the volunteers are going to be able to assist us. Yeah, it's something that at times before we could expect it, maybe it's over our heads, but I feel that the Yuma community will come support and be able to handle it.
So people should dress appropriately, wear appropriate shoes, drink water, or there will be water provided?
Yeah, we'll provide water. You could always bring your own, if you want Gatorade or something, something with more electrolytes. Closed-toe shoes, long jeans. I like to wear long sleeve shirts. Helps with the UV protection.
Yeah, get the sun off of you,
hats, gloves, glasses, sunglasses helps. Especially in the water, you get that double exposure because it reflects off the water, so it does gets your eyes tired quicker if you're near there. And apart from that, they just be ready to work.
Yeah. So one more time, when, where, and you said 14, and if not 14, there's a waiver. Go ahead and give everybody the details one more time, and then maybe how to follow you on Instagram or anything like that.
All right. Yeah. So March 28th at 7 a.m. at the Pacific Athletic Complex. So the PAC. 7 a.m., 7:30 would be the safety briefing. So by then, ideally, we'd want all the volunteers signed in and ready to listen. From there, we'll divide the group, depending on your capacity that you'd like to help out, a little bit more labor intensive or more walking, and we'll split up and go from there. Ideally, the second group would be 4x4. So if you got, the muscle and the equipment, we'd like to follow you on that side.
Cool. And then how do they find you on Facebook or Instagram or anything?
Facebook, we do events. So we like to have people, add that they're going so we could have a good head count. And then Instagram, we also have a page there.
So just look up Friends of the Lower Colorado or something?
Correct, yes.
Okay. Right on. Well, thank you so much for being with us, and thank you for everything that you do to keep this resource cleaned and respected and getting the awareness out there, Yeah, so people, there's a free dump, use it, don't dump stuff out there. And
the dumpster, Yeah,
and then, the dumpster, and thank you to Fort Yuma Rotary, that's the sponsor?
Fort Yuma Rotary, yes, and then Friends of the Lower Colorado, and hopefully we get to the point where we don't need you guys out there, but while we do, we appreciate what you do.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And with that, we are going to take a break. We'll be back with John Peel. He's from Busy Drones Cleaning. We're going to find out how he uses these drones to clean off your solar panels, your roof, and such more. Right after this, you're listening to What's Up Yuma Radio right here on 94.7 KOFA Border Radio.
What's Up Yuma is sponsored by the 2 Welton locations of High Tanks Brewing Company, its craft brewery and tap room, featuring scratch-made food and handcrafted beers, including Daphne's Date Ale and the Gila Hazy IPA. Also, live music and experiences such as farm tours and glamping are available. More at hightanks.com.
From KAWC News, I'm Cisco Stargazer. Recent sexual abuse allegations against farm worker rights activist Cesar Chavez are causing many folks to reconsider their views on him, especially here in Yuma County, where Chavez was born and passed away. Now the Gadsden Elementary School District in San Luis is holding a special governing board meeting on Thursday, March 26th. The meeting will consist of a public hearing to consider changing the names of Cesar Chavez Elementary School and the Cesar Chavez Activity Center at San Luis Middle School. The district is inviting public comment, so members of the public will be able to attend and speak for up to 3 minutes each. This meeting is solely being held for discussion and information, so no action will be taken on this day. Rather, action might show up in a future governing board meeting date. Thursday's meeting will be held at 6 p.m. at the Gadsden District Administrative Office, located at 1350 East Cesar Chavez Boulevard in San Luis. Translation and interpretation services will be available too. From KAWC News, I'm Cisco Stargazer.
From KAWC, this is Siendo Primero. I'm Sajei Bárcenas.
And I'm Melanie Ruiz Lopez. In this episode, we'll be talking about AI, artificial intelligence.
I use AI all the time to help me with difficult questions, coming up with study prompt.
There's a lot of questions that I had, and I was able to use AI for it.
I do let students in that class use it to translate.
A new energy with the same mission.
To give students a voice.
The Yuma Arts Center presents the Children's Festival of the Arts from 10 to 3 on April 18th in front of the Arts Center in Yuma's historic downtown. This all-ages community event features hands-on art activities, live performances, and interactive exhibits for children. More information at yumaartscenter.com.
I'm Public Radio Runner. Join me for Bonus Smiles, the show sharing the stories and playlists that fuel runners. Why? Because the rando cheering you on at a mile 77 aid station is the same kind of person who supports local public radio. Join us every Saturday at 5 a.m. on KOFA at 94.7 FM for stories that soothe and jams that power long runs.
I use KAWC almost on a daily basis in my car. It's the background for chores around my house. And I go to the website and look for stories that are of interest, and I listen to podcasts. I look to the news on NPR because I'm looking for something beyond the headline or a soundbite or a gotcha moment. I really want news that shows me sort of the multiple dimensions of a story, that seeks information from multiple sources and doesn't tell me how to think. It just presents the issues, and I really appreciate that. Being a sustaining member of a service like KAWC takes the mystery out of it for me. So I know that I am supporting every month. I also know that I don't have to remember to sit down and write a check at the end of the year or a budget for a check at the end of the year, right? It's kind of coming out of my account every month, and that makes me feel a little bit like I'm part of the team. I'm Lori Stoft from Arizona Western College, and I'm a proud supporter of KAWC Yuma.
Why is music an important part of your life? For many of us, music lets us see the world from someone else's perspective. We can find community in hearing someone else's joy, sorrow, or hope expressed in song or melody. KOFA Border Radio is your local, non-commercial source for great music.
What's up, Yuma? Welcome back to What's Up, Yuma Radio. We are here now joined by John Peel from Busy Drones. Is it cleaners or cleaning?
Busy Drones Cleaning.
Okay, all right. Cleaners. Yeah. I got you tripped up. I like that's usually the best way to do it. I didn't even notice you had one of the shirts on. I should just look at that from now on. All right. We like to get to know our guests. But before we do, tell us a little bit about Busy Drone Cleaners. And how'd you get a fleet of drones to obey you to clean, right? You know?
Absolutely. Well, when I first came up with this concept, I was just kind of like just living life normally, going to school and stuff. And then as a veteran, I spent a lot of time watching this Russia-Ukraine war, watching how it evolved. And I watched a drone fly a trench line utilizing thermite to clean out every crevice of the trench. And I used to do HVAC work, and when I moved here to Yuma, I noticed how we all have Spanish tile roof, and then we have solar panels. And when I was an HVAC tech, we weren't allowed to walk on those Spanish tile roofs, and then that's why we had that walkway platform to the HVAC unit. So I was like, well, how do they do it? And then I found out that that's just how they do it, and they take the risk of maybe damaging the tile or not. So I always thought there had to be a better way. And then after watching that drone be able to clean that trench line, I was like, oh my gosh, what if we use that with water? We could then clean all kinds of different access points that we couldn't reach before. And then we wouldn't have the risk of using ladders or lifts or scaffolding. And, you know, a lot of people don't realize in various trades, but according to OSHA last year, 189 people died while doing similar work. And the only reason why you haven't met a window cleaner that's fallen before, it's because they're dead.
Because they're dead. Yeah. No, you don't want to do that. So you have the drones, and they clean on top of the roofs, the solar panels, stuff like that, right?
That's right. So imagine it's as simple as it's a flying pressure washing gun. We utilize RODI water, leaving it with a spot-free rinse. And then the way the drone actually cleans windows or solar panels is the same method of how your dishwasher works, where it's going to be using a cleaning solution, agitation from the water pressure, and then that rinse, spot-free rinse at the end to leave it clean.
Okay, so we're gonna backtrack a little bit, and then we're gonna get back to this. So you're not from Yuma originally. Where are you from originally?
Oh man, I'm what you call a tumbleweed.
Okay.
Blowing from north to south. So I'm originally from Washington State.
Washington State. Okay.
I call home Northern California just because I spent a lot of time there. But I've even been as far south as lived in Tijuana, Mexico for a couple years as well.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I bounce around quite a bit.
And you're a military veteran.
That's
right. You've been deployed to Iraq twice, and
That's
then
right.
once to Afghanistan. Is
That's
that correct?
Yeah.
So now, were you always into like the drone type of stuff? Did you like that stuff? And is that why you went to the military, or just how'd that happen? You were just kind of I need something to do, or
no? So actually, I was just like a kid that was just having too much fun when I was young. I lived on my own through like the later parts of my high school time, so I had a lot of freedom. And I found myself in trouble. Went to the Air Force first, got in trouble, so couldn't complete their program. And then thankfully we were at war, so I went to the Marine Corps, and I could do pull-ups and run.
So they said you're in?
They had no problem handing me a gun.
Pull-ups and run.
Yeah, they're like, you're hired.
You're good.
Yeah.
Sign up.
Yeah, I remember that's what it came down to when they had a bunch of guys go up on the pull-up bar, and then they're like, yeah, you're fine.
You're in. So you do that. Like you said, a little bit of trouble. Yeah, but they found a place for you because, we were at war at the time. So you get into the military. What was your experience when you got in?
So I joined to do supply, office supply at that. And I tested well, and then I was assigned to 1st Recon Battalion to do supply for them. And I don't sit in offices very well, and they didn't have enough reconnaissance Marines to meet their quota for a deployment. So they were able to move me over to one of their platoons. I spent my first deployment as a machine gunner. We deployed to Fallujah, Ramadi.
Those are the big names from that war. I remember that.
Yeah, we were definitely in an active spot. We weren't there for that initial 2 pushes, so I'm not going to put myself in those
but
guys.
You were still there. But
we were there for the follow-up, the cleanup.
Okay.
Yeah, and then following deployment, I was still with Recon Battalion, still in the same security platoon. Position change there. The reality of that deployment is it was much more quieter. We didn't have as much work to do. The war was pretty much won at that point. We were just doing maintenance and supporting the Iraqis when they needed a little extra kick in the butt, get going.
So, and then you went to Afghanistan later?
Yeah, so then I changed my job in the Marine Corps, and then I went and did retail for the Marine Corps, running the exchange. And most people don't realize, but it's a highly deployed to MOS because when you're deployed, you actually then have like a mobile truck that you drive to all the battle positions to then sell goods to the Marines.
Okay.
Yeah, and then literally like Kajaki Dam in part of the northern part of Helmand Province, to bring goods to those guys, I would radio and let them know what supplies I had. They would tell me what they wanted to buy, and I'd load up a ruck full of Monsters and Snickers and magazines, and I'd go hike up these trails to go sell them stuff.
Oh wow! And so, and you mentioned the trails, and I've had a media company for years, and the reason I'm bringing it up is because one of my clients was Gators, and they're big in the community for Navy SEALs. They love these glasses. And so we did a shoot, and they were like, we got to do a shoot, and it has to look like Afghanistan. And so it's like, okay. And they was like, well, okay, we got to go to Flagstaff. And I was like, what? It's like, yeah, Afghanistan looks like Flagstaff.
Parts of it.
Oh, parts of it. So what was it like where you were at? Did you go to the nice where it looks like Flagstaff? No, you didn't get to the flag. And like, but people probably don't even realize that part of it does look like Flagstaff, but go ahead.
Yeah, so Afghanistan is a very diverse country as far as its climate and stuff. From like when I was up by the Kajaki Dam, we saw the mountains. We didn't see the pine forest that you see in some areas. Helmand Province, Sangin Valley. What you have down there is it's just like it's a deep valley that's full of just that moon dust. It's a lot of where the poppy's grown. So it's a main hub for all their poppy operations and revenue growth for the Taliban there. And so that's where the Marine Corps spent its time.
Okay.
Yeah, we go to the more undesirable places.
No, yeah, absolutely. And then you're like a ice cream man or something. Like you come over, you got your truck loaded up, you got it, and then the people get the goodies. And
that's right.
Yeah, you're doing that. Did you enjoy that?
I did. I really did. So I actually even got a bunch of awards for it, including NAMS, CERTCOMs.
Oh wow!
I didn't just do my job like getting you what you want. I strategically planned it to increase sales because the way I saw it is that was my job. And so I broke every sales record for Iraq or Afghanistan. Then I broke my own record 14 times consecutively. And that was like my big focus when I was over there. And it was always figuring out, to me, I felt I was also bringing the Marines the best service because rather than just bringing them the basic option for cigarettes, I'd bring out all the varieties and I would plan in a way that I would think I would be able to hit my quota for the demographics of who I was going to be serving and what units I was hitting.
So it took some thought into it.
Yeah, a lot of thought and plans.
Planning.
And I didn't just provide service for the Marines either. It was the Danish, the Brits, even the Georgians, which I would go and service any of the Allied units that were in our various operation AO. I would reach out to them and go make trips.
And I've talked about this on the show before. Now you're an entrepreneur, but like you're learning these things early on by doing the best you can at the position you're at when you're at that.
100%.
And so I'm an entrepreneur, and a lot of my mentors would say, like, go work that job like you own the company.
That's right.
Go do that. And like you're saying, you're breaking records, you're doing these things. They would tell me, go do that. And it was like, well, it's tough. I don't own it. And that guy's a jerk and this and that. And I don't get to have any say. Stop thinking like that. Go do your best. And then the situation will come because you're not going to be ready for it if you're just slacking off and, doing things just to, okay, I did enough. Yeah. So you're doing that on the job training for kind of the position you're in now.
See, I've taken every position I've ever done to that level.
Yeah.
Wow. And like I've managed many other companies, received different awards for them. And the only downside I've ever seen in myself doing that with other companies is sometimes I'd experience burnout where I would just work myself so hard and the company would do really well and they'd give me awards and be amazed at how much improvement we've done. And then eventually it was just
Yeah.
But what I do like about myself about being a business owner is before working for companies, sometimes I'd feel like I would be held back in brackets of control of what you could do.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, the sky's literally the limit, especially with drones.
Yeah.
And the outreach I could do, the efforts I can make, there is no one saying, hey, slow down.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
right? And then, like you said, you did this at every position that you had, and burnout could definitely be a thing. Or like with me, the last station I was at, I gave my all to it. And then one day they just said, okay, we don't need you anymore because your position's not here. And you're just kind of, whoa, wait a minute. But I knew in the back of my head, I was like, okay, it can't end with this. They don't have control over who I am and my work ethic and stuff. There's going to be something on the other side. And obviously there was for you, the company that we're going to talk about after the break real quick. We're going to take a break and we're going to find out how it all came into these drones right after this. You're listening to What's Up Yuma Radio right here on 94.7 KOFA Border Radio.
This is folk singer Michael Jonathan. Join us on Wood Songs this week as we celebrate the amazing world of the front porch with ukulele master and songwriter Emmy Sunshine, plus New York City songwriter and daughter of the legendary Jack Hardy. Her name is Miranda Hardy with songs from her new album, plus an amazing Wood Songs kid, all on this week's broadcast of the Wood Songs Old Time Radio Hour.
This evening at 7 p.m. on KOFA Border Radio 94.7 FM. Unseasonably hot conditions will continue to challenge daily temperature records through the rest of the week and into the start of the weekend. In Yuma, Parker, and Quartzsite today, we expect it to be sunny with an afternoon high of about 98 degrees. Winds are out of the south at 5 miles per hour. Tonight, mostly clear skies with a low around 65 degrees.
There is so much advice about decluttering, like the Marie Kondo method, where you ask yourself, does this item spark joy? Well, donating a vehicle that you don't need anymore to KAWC and Border Radio is an easy way to help us bring you the programs that bring you joy. And it's a great way to declutter. Learn more at kawc.org/cars.
If you're tired of listening to long commercials before finally hearing music, look no further. We've got you covered. Whether you're searching on your radio, trying to find an app to play some tunes, or need background music playing on your computer while finishing up some work, KOFA Border Radio is your non-commercial place for music.
What's up, Yuma? Welcome back to What's Up, Yuma Radio. We are here with John Peel, and we're talking about drones. And before we go any further, I just want to say, and I didn't say, thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely appreciate that. And so, is that how you ended up in Yuma, military, or
No.
how'd you end up here? Because that's typical. Like,
Yeah.
you would say
Marine Corps,
like,
Air Station
the Air
Yuma.
Station. And,
No, I was stationed at Pendleton the whole time.
Oh, I love Pendleton, man.
Yeah,
I worked there for a little bit, and we got to build some of the new housing, and it was so beautiful right off the beach, and like the air would come in. Oh man. Anyway, but so you were in Pendleton, but how'd you end up in Yuma?
So I mean, that's another long story. So after a lot of adventures,
After Tijuana.
After Tijuana and stuff. I was actually homeless before I moved to Tijuana, and that's how I stopped being homeless to save up enough to come back. But I was looking for non-medical help for PTSD, and so I got into beekeeping, and then I started a farm up in Northern California, focusing on beekeeping, and that ended up not working out. I had a relationship situation that caused the end of that, and so my ex-wife had moved to Yuma to do the nursing program, and she's a nurse here locally. So I moved here to be closer with my kids since we had split apart physically. And then moving back here, that's when I just put two together. And
so explain that a little bit, because like you said that you're noticing these things, and you came off of being homeless, these different things, but it takes money, and it takes a little bit to put a business together, and you don't really have a lot of connections maybe at that time. So how'd you do it?
So I really had this dream, and I thought it was real, and I've had a lot of other dreams, but I always found a reason that it wouldn't work. And I went to the professor I had at the time, Miguel Rios, and I told him I had this idea, and he told me if I really believe in it, to just cut everything out in my life and just put everything into it. So I went home that night, I factory reset my computer, I dropped out of school, I quit my job, and I put everything into it without knowing how to do it.
Wow, you serious?
Yeah, I ended up buying cork boards and whiteboards, put up them in my bedroom wall, so as soon as I'd wake up, the first thing I would see is my to-do list, so I wouldn't have a distraction. And I spent like weeks just stressed out, like thinking, what did I just do? Trying to figure out how to create a business plan, because one of the problems I had with my farm is I didn't have a real plan. And so I created a plan, and every time I thought it was done, I realized there's more to add to it, and I kept growing and growing. From there, I went to bank to bank to bank for like almost a month, getting told no everywhere I went. And then finally went to a bank, went to the Arizona National Bank, pitched my idea, and they said yes. And I think one of the things that was really cool too, that changed everything, is as we were doing it, every question that they had, I was able to reference a spot of my business plan and answer their question.
Gotcha. So having that preparation again, that business plan, they had a question, you had an answer.
I had an answer, and it showed that I already had thought of those same problems that would come up and how I would address it. And things don't always go as planned.
Yeah.
But by having a plan, it gives you a foundation and the goal. And every time, even with the business now, where I'm like, this isn't working, I go back to that outline and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to be doing this.
Mm-hmm. So you mentioned the beekeeping, and I noticed the mascot on your shirt.
Yeah.
So I figure that's probably like the beekeeping and the drones kind of come together.
So
and
most people won't know this, but every hive has a queen bee. All the workers are females. They do all the work. They have the stingers. They do everything that you think of a bee. The males there are all called drones. They don't even have a stinger. They have a male appendage. And all they do is mate. They don't collect nectar or anything. But my company is so efficient that we even put the drones to work.
Gotcha. Okay. I like
go.
that little play on words, obviously, and part of your past.
Yeah.
So then you put it together. So then how do you get these drones equipped with the stuff you need? Is it like, were they commercially available or like
Yes.
what? Okay.
So when I tell everyone this is my original idea, and I was about to zip tie drones together to a pressure washer from Home Depot, but I went to that business plan concept, and then I realized you have to have a license, through the FAA.
Yeah, pilot's license.
That's right.
Yep.
So I'm like, that's something to do. There's also weight restrictions. There's air restrictions. There's so many different laws and controls that you have to abide by. And so it saved me from going through a whole bunch of silly, wasted money and violations. And I found a couple different companies that were doing this. I networked with them and figured out the one that I went with is called Lucid Bots. The Sherpa window package. And I went with that one because they're American made. And I had a feeling that eventually, with the way the world is, that all these foreign drones would have a restriction, which they now do.
They're
no
do,
longer
yeah.
allowed.
Yeah.
And so I literally had that in my business plan is why I was doing it. And my drone is more expensive than the Chinese one, but I'm allowed to fly.
Yeah,
Okay.
you can get in the air.
Here in Yuma, like when we think of drones, we either think of the ones obviously filming like stuff at like festivals, or the ones that do ag, like ag
the
tech,
sprays,
ag
the
tech
chemicals,
drones. Yeah, so it's kind of the same, like more like that. Like
Yeah, so
but
my
for
drone's
cleaning.
about the size of those ag ones, and it's similar in that comparison. But we're tethered to the water, so we're not carrying our payload with us. The payload that we do carry is just a chemical solution, which we have multiple triggers that we can apply
as it's up there. Oh, okay. So you got it going. Then you got to market. How'd that go? Like get people to know who you are.
So I mean, it's been good and bad. So like social media, I've gained like a couple thousand followers in a couple months, so that's great. But social media don't pay the bills, And then I've tried radio, flyers, a lot of stuff. I will say San Diego County and Phoenix, Maricopa County, they've been really good with us. They're utilizing us. Here locally, we've had a few jobs. I have a hard time here telling everyone about the drone because we can do something no one else can do. But we also do all the stuff that everyone else does too. So we also still hand detail squeegee windows. We do surface cleaning.
Oh, okay.
And my business plan was always that we were going to be doing those type of services here locally and the few large buildings we have. And then we'd be doing remote work for all the large clients elsewhere. But so far we've been almost San Diego and Phoenix.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So you're doing that. And then also Victor had mentioned something.
Yeah, so you were, I understand that you have a recognition because you do this work in Arizona. Tell us about that.
Oh, yes. So the SBDC has actually nominated us for the best veteran business or best new veteran business for the state of Arizona.
Awesome.
Yeah. The SBDC, VBOC, National Bank of Arizona, all these different partnerships, even Arizona Western College. So we've partnered with them. I'm actually kind of slowing it up. I'm just very busy with all the different tasks. But our dream is to create the first apprenticeship program for all drone pilots here in the state of Arizona.
Wow.
And this isn't about cleaning. Matter of fact, cleaning would probably only be a topic that's brought up for a minute as a joke, and then we move on. That the drone program is going to be like LiDAR all the way to photography. It'll be no different than how a plumber or electrician goes to get, earn their apprenticeship to journeyman, where we cover all facets of their profession. Same with this. And if the school creates it, it's a like 2.5-year program. And then once you accomplish that, you could take that journeyman card and go anywhere in the U.S. then and be certified that you're a journeyman pilot, being able to go into any type of drone atmosphere and knowing that you can take the controls.
And they're definitely, it's the future. right?
It is.
Yeah, it's the future,
Yes,
and the
that's-
drones are going to be doing a lot more. So just
if
getting
there's-
that base.
If
yeah.
there's any drone pilots out there, that's what the school is wanting to know right now, is that they want to see that there is interest before they go ahead and dump all this into it.
So for my business, we need to get our pilot's license because we do, social media, we do video stuff like that. And so me and my business partner both have to get our license here pretty soon.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, you're going to help
If you
me
need
do that?
I could be on site and it covers you then.
Okay, yeah, let's do it. And so tell everybody how they can find you on social media, website, all that good stuff if they would like more information.
Yeah, so give us a buzz at 928-509-0360, or our website is busydronescleaners.biz. We be buzzing.
Yeah, you be buzzing, and
like
you can
that.
see
I like
videos
that.
of it on the Instagram, right? You can see the drones at work.
That's right. We literally, the sky's the limit when it comes to us.
Yeah, I like that, man. You got so many.
You got the puns, you got the beat puns there. We like it.
All right. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you, guys.
being with us. And with that, it is time for What's Up Yuma Radio. Is a production at KAWC, Colorado River Public Media. We broadcast from the studios in the Matador Activity Center at Arizona Western College in Yuma. We want to thank our engineer, Talon Gonzalez, along with Anthony Ornelas, Juan Garcia, Dave Reek, and Cecilia.
You can find out more about KOFA at borderradioaz.org and on the KOFA app. Stay tuned for KOFA's Midday Music.
On tomorrow's program, we're kicking it off with Stevie Dub from Helm & Sons. Yeah, fair time is next week, so he's going to be giving away some stuff.
And we also have Melissa Zaremba from KYMA.
Yes, we do.
You can listen to the podcast version of our program and check out past episodes anytime at kawc.org/podcast/What's Up Yuma Radio.
All right. And if you want to get on the show, it's super easy to do. Go to whatsupyuma.com or whatsupyuma.biz. Either of them, hit that radio tab and then hit book. That's all you got to do. You can book your time right here on What's Up Yuma Radio. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
What's Up Yuma is sponsored by High Tanks Brewing Company, serving up scratch-made food, craft beers, and experiences at 2 desert locations in Welton. More at hightanks.com.
Broadcasting from Yuma campus of Arizona Western College for more than 55 years, this is Border Radio, 94.7 FM, KOFA Yuma. We also broadcast at 1320 AM in Yuma at kawc.org and on the KOFA